just a quick look at your line combinations for the morning skate. You shaking things up here as far as just what you're going to do line-wise tonight?
Yeah, for sure. But first off, I'd like to say congratulations, Gord. I heard you had your first grandson, Kenton. That's a big moment and certainly proud for yourself. So congratulations. And for our lines, nothing's set in stone here. It's a work in progress for our group to see who fits with who. Certainly, there's been some good combinations, but a little bit stale, I think, offensively. 5-on-5 wise, and we're just looking to shake it up. I thought Timmy came alive there in the third period, playing with Daddy and Whitey, and Drake and Brady haven't had a ton of time to play together, with Norris. So since back to the start of the year, and I think sometimes it's good to change it up, especially Edmonton's beaten us a bunch of times in a row. Maybe it gives us a little jam.
Is it easier to do when you're on the road?
Yeah, for sure, because we're not getting our matchup, unless you're doing it on the fly. So, I think we build strength through four lines. I think Nick Paul with Anisimov and Watson, you could put out there against anyone at any time. And then Zingle, Tierney have played well together, and obviously Tierney and Brown play together. So I think if you look at the four lines, it looks good. We'll see how it looks tonight.
What can you carry over from the last game into tonight's game, Coach?
Well, I thought, our effort for the most part is always there. It's being a little bit smarter, staying with our structure a little bit more, being more detailed, being harder to play against. I didn't think we were overly hard to play against. Seemed like there was way too much ice. And we've got to look a little bit more like we looked in some of our previous wins where we don't give you much.
Bruce Garriock, Post Media.
Hey, DJ, just a couple things. This starts the second half of the season. It seems like it's going by pretty fast here. But what do you want to see in I guess what would be your third quarter?
Well, we want to have more consistency. And I mean, if you look at our last month, we're starting to play consistently, know what it takes to win at least, with this group, and know how we have to play to win. And we'd like to see that more often than not, and certainly lower the goals against, get better defensively, and then continue to improve on our special teams. And if we do that, we'll be in every game.
Just DJ, this is your 100th game behind the bench as an HL head coach. How's the transition been for you?
Certainly it's not the start that you would want, numbers wise, but I knew coming in that, it was a rebuild and we were a young group, and I'm really excited, going forward with this group. I mean, we have some great young pieces, they're friends off the ice. They're starting to hold each other accountable on the ice. And I couldn't be any more excited to be the head coach of this group. We're getting better as a group, me included. I mean, I'm a rookie coach as well. Only at 100 games, and you're going to learn certain things you do that don't work or do work. And you learn what works with your team. And I think we're growing together and we're getting better together.
My apologies. I just had one more thing. Just what do you like about Tkachuk with Norris and Batherson?
Well, I think Brady brings a level of emotion every night that draws people into a battle. And sometimes when guys aren't going great or just going okay, you need that kind of energy to get that fire going. And I think, that group certainly can make plays. They're big, they're strong, they're friends on and off the ice, and you'd expect them to be really good tonight.
Mark Broussard, Loudois.
Hey, DJ, Chris Tierney hasn't scored in quite a long time, 24 games. I think. Do you hope that Zingle might help him shake off the rust, I guess?
Well, yeah, he's got to shoot more if he's going to score. But he's played well of late. He's made some great plays. We all know he's a pass first guy, but if you want to score, you either got to get to the net or you got to shoot more. And I think I said last week, I went through every stat sheet in the National Hockey League, and without a doubt, there's only a couple teams, and anyone that's in the top 4 or 5 are scoring are also top 4 or 5 in shots. So if you want to score, you got to shoot.
Ian Mendez, The Athletic.
Hi, DJ. Two questions for you. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. What would you say is the biggest difference between DJ Smith, the head coach in game 1 in the NHL, and tonight DJ Smith, head coach in game number 100?
I think you learn not to react quite as much to everything. A little bit more methodical when it comes to if you have a bad shift, bad period, bad game, probably getting better at recognizing the mistakes we make in games and then making an adjustment for the next game. I think when you start out as a coach, you want to do so many things, you end up getting less done. And I think if you look at the best coaches in the league, the Pete DeBoers and the guys that have been around, the Barry Trotz, and these guys that have been around a long time, they simplify it and they do things in whatever it is they're telling their team, they make sure they master that plan. And I think we've done a better job here, last 15, 20 games of, keeping everything the same. And let's get really good at small things. And I think that's probably the difference is when I first started out, you want to do everything and you want to do everything well. And I think you got to simplify it and master it.
And my other question would be, just on your first unit power play, it's been 25 games since Dadonov's had a point. At any point, would you consider moving him off of that first unit just to shake it up? Or are you comfortable, even with the lack of production, with what Dadonov has brought to your power play?
Well, the power play has been a real bright spot for us here the last little bit. And whether he's getting points or not, he keeps a lot of pucks alive for us. He's great on entries. It's not to say that, hey, at the end of the day, you're always looking for the best possible lineup to put in there. And if it is a power play without him, we'd certainly look at that. But I think he helps a guy like Timmy and a guy like Drake and a guy like Brady. He's always available in the bumper to get those guys out of trouble. And he's really good on breakouts. So at this point, I'm certainly not looking at that. I think he's really helped with the development of those guys on the power play. And I'm sure if you asked him, he'd like more production as well.
Kyle Bukauskas, Sportsnet.
Morning, DJ. Just wondering, I know you mentioned on the weekend with Wolanin, he's done everything that's been asked of in practices. He's waiting for his next shot. I mean, is it more the case of you like the six in front of him right now, or what's kind of keeping him from getting another crack here?
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? He easily could have went in last game, but after Branny only played a small amount in that game, I didn't think it was fair to pull him out. I think we went with a decision in Calgary to go down to 5. It worked. We won the game. Not to say that we wouldn't have won had he played, but I think that part of development is you have to play as well. And Branny deserved another shot, and Branny came in and played really well. He had 4 shots on net in 19, 20 minutes ice time. So, and then Mikey Riley's continued to be really good defensively and given us an option on the penalty kill. And obviously Shabbat is not a guy that's an option there. So we'll look to get him in. I wanted to get him in. I'd like to get him in. Maybe we'll see how tonight goes. But it's nothing he's done. It's just he continues to work and practice, and it's part of hockey. I mean, we're trying to win every game. And right now, I think the 6 guys that are dressed are giving us the best chance.
Final one will be from Jack Michaels at 6:30 CHED.
Hi, DJ. Just I wanted to get your thoughts a little bit on Joey Decord. From an outsider's perspective, I thought he really battled the other night. Might he have earned himself another start sooner rather than later with that performance?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we talk around here. I mean, it's hard work and effort gets you chances. And he's, might be the hardest worker in the gym every day. He continues to work at his game. He's ultra competitive. And he's given us, he said 2 starts and he's given us a chance in both games and he's been really good. So, when I'm looking from afar, obviously there's a development standpoint there where we want him to get a lot of games. But to me, here's a guy that wants it and wants it now. And, he'll get more games for sure.